What's going on, everyone? What's happening? Welcome on in, Coffee with Brodes. How are we today? It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's going to be hot as hell. There's no denying that. I'm actually going golfing today, so I'm pretty damn excited about it. Hitting the links, going to go out there and swing the golf clubs a little bit. So I'm looking forward to it. What's up, Tyler? What's going on? Nolan, Lazy, Billy, thank you so much. Joe, thanks for being in here, man. I appreciate it. I'm excited. What? What? No, don't tell me we're worried about Maxi and losing Maxi. Don't tell me that's what we're talking about in the chat already. Cheers, everyone. We're going back with the monkey mug. That's the day today. It's Tuesday. Maybe it's just a monkey mug week. Amazing. Am I playing a full 18? Of course. There's no such thing as doing anything else for me. I don't believe in playing 9. I don't believe in not playing a full 18. So, yeah, I'm playing the full 18 today. Looking forward to it. All right, let's kick things off here. Nathan says, Phillies are just awful. Girardi should be on the hot seat. There's more than that, though. I'm with you. He's making, like, the worst decisions I've ever seen in my life. But I go back to, he looks the same as Gabe Kapler. And if Gabe Kapler and Joe Girardi look exactly the same, there's a bigger issue here. So I know from the surface, it's Joe, and maybe it is Joe. Maybe I'm being naive here. But there's got to be more to it because this is just horrendous. They both look the same. They both literally look the same. If they both look the same, someone's telling them to do something. There's something deeper. There's something that's happening behind closed doors that we just don't know about. Because I mean, it's outrageous. I mean, this guy's never managed baseball. That's what it looks like. He's never managed baseball. That's literally impossible. He comes to the most losing franchise in the history of sports, and now he looks like a fool. I mean, come on, there's got to be a correlation here. There just has to be because this is outrageous. We have $5 coming in from Cosmicon. Why are the Phillies organization so poor? Why is the Phillies organization so poor at just explain what's going on? What are they trying to do with Spencer Howard? What they're trying to do is start him, and he can't start. I guess they're basically admitting he stinks. He's not good. Or that's what they need. That's what they need to admit. That's what they need to admit. But they're not telling themselves that. They're afraid to commit to that statement and say that Spencer Howard is a reliever. All the signs lead to reliever. He's got high velocity in the early stages of his outings. He dips off after 2 innings. He's a reliever. They just don't want to say he's a reliever because he was supposed to be a high prospect, and this would be another epic failure as an organization trying to develop another player. So that's basically what it is. They are afraid to say to everybody, he's not what we thought he was. He's not very good. He's a reliever. They don't want to say those words. Yet we all know it. We all know it. You're not fooling anybody. Everyone sees it with their own 2 eyes. We're not dumb. We watch baseball. We see what he is. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Nolan asked who I would want to see in the NBA Finals. I really don't care. I really don't care. I like this Phoenix Suns team. They're fun. Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder. That would be fun. It's also fun to watch Paul George, though. I mean, Paul George had, 20 points in the third quarter yesterday, which is just insanity. He was going off. He had a big game, and he's doing it without Kawhi Leonard. And knowing the storylines behind what Paul George has been throughout his career, playoff P, it'd be cool to see him kind of shut some people up and have some big moments. He's making some tough shots. He's making some late clutch shots as well, keeping the Clippers in it as long as possible. So I like both of those stories heading into an NBA Finals. And on top of that, if the Hawks do, it's like, what the hell? What? And Giannis, I really don't care. I really don't care. I think all of them would be fun. All of them would be enjoyable. I guess the Bucks would give whatever team on the Western Conference side probably a little bit more run for their money, probably a longer series if that's the case. So probably the Bucks is my thought because I want it to be longer. So that's probably what I would say. Oh, Kendall, I said it right from the jump. I wouldn't do it. Kendall says, in hindsight, would you undo the JT trade? I said it in the beginning of the whole speculation of, are the Phillies going to bring him back? You don't spend that much money on a catcher. He's good for his position. But you gave up Sixto Sanchez, and at the time, Sixto Sanchez looked to be a stud, and you just paid Bryce Harper, and you're thinking about bringing a team back, and your thought was, if you could fix the bullpen, you're probably not as much of an embarrassment, but we actually do know that that wasn't necessarily the case because they are an embarrassment. Even though the bullpen still stinks, their offense is not good. Their defense is probably one of the worst defenses I could remember in the sport of baseball. So they have so many different issues, so many different layers, roster construction, managerial decisions, offense, defense, base running. I mean, their base running is so poor. Nick Maton gets lucky against the New York Mets the other day, getting back to third base. That could have been disastrous. Odubel Herrera running from third base to home yesterday in the first inning. That was one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen in my entire life. So it's one thing after the next with this team. But I said right from the jump, you do not spend that type of money for JT Realmuto. You just don't. There's a reason why the market was where it was, and it wasn't just COVID. It was a lot more than just COVID. There's a reason why players or teams don't go after players at the catcher position spending that much money. It's just not worth it, especially when you're trying to spend to go win a title, because that's what the Phillies do, because they stink at actually everything else. So now you're spending a majority of your money when you think of, where you can spread this out at on a catcher, Terrible. Just terrible. Joe says, just throwing Spencer Howard to the Wolves doesn't solve the issue that they misjudged him. Oh, I know that. Oh, we all know that, but that doesn't change the thinking of the organization. They have no idea what they're doing with him. That's the problem. I don't think they know. Just go start and we'll see whatever happens. Just start and maybe you'll be all right. Just start and hopefully we can get you through 3 innings. I mean, they have no clue. And they're a team that has a bad bullpen. That's not breaking news. So now, right now, they're just horrendous. Blowing saves left and right. Well, they have 7 blown saves this week or something of that nature. Tom McCarthy mentioned on the broadcast. So right now, their bullpen has no confidence, and we're going to start throwing guys that can't go deep into ball games. And then when we do have a starting pitcher that can go deeper in the ball games, they yank them early. They yank them after 6, and then you're begging your bullpen to give you 7, 8, 9 when you didn't have to do that. You did that. You forced that to happen. You went to Ranger Suarez when you didn't need to go to Ranger Suarez. You didn't anticipate them going with a righty on the at the plate pinch hitting, which is baseball 101 knowledge. You need to foresee that, Joe. That's something you need to know is coming. Think ahead. I mean, are we nuts? Are we nuts? Billy says that Nick Maton should be the closer. The fact that you were up 4-2, and before you know it, with the blink of an eye, we're now witnessing Nick Maton pitch in the baseball game. Are you kidding me? This team stinks. Now, I believe that I saw the Miami Marlins, which, the kryptonite of the Philadelphia Phillies, are in a really bad stretch right now, too. Basically, just as bad as the Phillies. So if you go to the MLB standings, I'm just curious, in their last 10, I think they're around this. Let's see where they are. They're 4-6 in their last 10, but I don't think that tells the full story. If I go to so they lost to the Nats, they beat the Nats. They split a series. Let's see here. They split a series with the Nationals. They lost a 2-game set to the Blue Jays. Now, I don't think it's as bad as what I thought it would be, maybe. I don't know. I'm not going back through all their games, to be honest with you. I don't care enough about the Marlins. But I do know that the Marlins beat the Phillies every single damn time. So it's going to be brutal. The Phillies are not a talented team. That is correct. That is correct. They're not a talented team. The problem is they haven't been. They haven't been since the downfall. And if you look at this organization historically, sure, once in a blue moon, they have a nice run with it, right? 80, 93, 08, But when it's bad, it's like the worst organization ever ran. When it's bad, they have no clue how to operate and function. No communication, no plan. They have no plan. We're back to that. I can't live without seeing a plan. You could be bad. For example, I actually think the Eagles have a plan. I do. I think the Eagles have a plan with Jalen Hurts, with all the first round picks, second round picks in next year's draft. If it doesn't work with Hurts this year, you can use those picks to move up in the draft and go get your quarterback. You're rebuilding a bit. Like, I actually see the plan with the Phillies. What the fuck's the plan? Can somebody tell me what the fucking plan is? There isn't any. There's none. The Sixers will lose on purpose. There's a plan. We will get better. We will get stars. We will be in playoff contention at the top of the Eastern Conference. They are. They have been. They've won 50-plus games. They're in the mix every season. Now, Ben Simmons is a problem, and he's not as good as we thought he was. But the plan, when the process started, was cause and effect. We'll do this. We'll get here. Where are the Phillies going? There's no plan. They just stink. And that's what's hard to swallow. That's what's hard to swallow. Joe says the plan is to overspend and underachieve. Well, I don't like that plan, Joe. I don't like that plan. When you think about how much money they spend, it's sickening. How does I almost said Matt Klentak. How does John Middleton allow for this to happen every year without major change? Major change. Major change. More than president of baseball ops. More than Joe Girardi. Major, 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 major change. Is he delusional? Does he not see the issue? Is he okay with this? Because he told me he wanted his damn trophy back. Well, your damn trophy ain't coming close to Philadelphia. You're not even close. You're going to be out of the playoffs again. You're battling with the Miami Marlins for last place right now. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Nolan says our bullpen this year is on pace to be worse than last year when we had the worst ERA. Well, I mean, keep in mind, you had 60 games last season compared to 162. So when you talk about blowing a bunch of saves and it happening rather quickly, and I get it, they're doing it multiple times in games and whatnot, but there is a part of this where you're playing 76 games already. You already have more games played than last season. So, of course, you know, when you think of how many times you can blow a lead, how many times you can look horrendous and awful, well, there's way more games. I mean, basically, we're talking about almost 3 times as many, just under 3 times. So, yeah, I mean, the numbers are going to be inflated in terms of how many blown saves and things of that nature. But, man, it's just disgusting. It's terrible. They're going to – I mean, I'm sure they've lost a lot of people already. But, you know, it's in that territory of people don't give a shit about this team. They're not a fun bunch, you know? Now, I'm not saying that where we are now should be where 08 was because you're just not even close in terms of likability. But Rollins, Utley, Howard, Hamill's West Coast guy. I don't know if I could say exactly the same about him as maybe Utley was with the workhorse effort. You wanted to watch them play. You loved their personality. You loved the way that they approached everybody. With Rhys Hoskins, he's telling us to write about the good things. You went 0 for 5 and you stunk. You went 0 for 5, you struck out 3 times. You make horrendous plays in the defensive side of the diamond every single day. Now, you didn't last game. Should we write about it? Should we write about it, Reese? Should we write about it? Should we write about how Nick Maton's a great pitcher? Should we write about how you guys were up 4-2? Should we write about how, you know, there's some positives here like Falter? Or should we write about all the positive things like Spencer Howard did okay in the first inning? Like, what do you want to write about, Reese? You guys stink. You stink. You stink. You stink. TJ asked if it's time to trade Nola. I'm trading Hoskins. I'm trading Nola. I'm trading JT Realmuto. I am redoing this damn thing. Because that's what you need to do. This core doesn't work. You need a real shape up. Everything's on the table. There's no one that I'm saying I'm not trading. Now, there's players that are not realistic to get traded, but if I'm the president of baseball ops, there's no one that's completely off limits. We don't have a Joel Embiid. If someone puts together an insane package for Bryce Harper, see you, Bryce. If someone puts together an insane package for JT, see you, JT. If someone wants Zach Wheeler, all right, Zach Wheeler. If you want Aaron Nola, hey, man, have at it. He's got a nice contract that's very team friendly. You have to you have to literally reshape everything, which sucks because, one, I don't trust John Middleton to do that, and two, you just went through that with the Matt Klentak era. That was what was supposed to be the blueprint, and back then we accepted it because we knew this was going to be a while. You had a GM in here. You were going to build from within. You were going to have to draft and develop, and it was going to be one big method. So we committed to that with the Matt Klentak era. But now that failed and flopped and it fell right on their faces, now they're in this unbelievable territory where we're buying players, we're trying to buy wins, we're doing this, we have no system. The star player claims there's nobody in the minor leagues, and we have to win 9 of 10, get Dave Dombrowski to buy into. I mean, it's awful. Now they're just stuck. They're stuck. It literally needs to all happen. All happen. It needs to be blown up, Nathan says. I agree. Wheeler might be the only pitcher I keep. I'm with you. I'm not sitting here saying I want to trade Zach Wheeler. I want to trade Bryce Harper. I don't want to trade any of these guys. It stinks. I don't want to trade any of these players. But what does this franchise need? They need a serious makeover. Like a serious makeover. Not a little one. Not just trading Rhys Hoskins. Not just trading one player. They need 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys out of here to get an actual facelift, because this culture doesn't work. This crew doesn't work. It's too ugly. It's way too ugly internally. Well, TJ, a team like the Tampa Bay Rays are not going to put together a package to grab a $330 million man. They just made it to the World Series and shipped out Blake Snell. They shipped out their players that have more money tied to their names. 0% chance that a team like the Tampa Bay Rays would spend that type of money. Now, I wouldn't say that, because some might look at that like this. Well, that's why they succeed and the Phillies don't. No, because the Dodgers spend. No, because the Red Sox spend. No, because good teams spend in this league as well. It's not about that. You're spending the proper amount of money as a big market. You're just spending it in ugly ways, and I don't think it's the Bryce thing that's making it ugly. I mean, there's plenty of guys out there. Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, all these players, Nolan Arenado, $25 million annually is not that much in baseball compared to what some of these other players are making out there. It's the 330 and the longevity that make people feel like his AAV is so bad. No, it's not. It's really, really, really not. So that's not the issue. It's just everything surrounding him, not having young, cheap talent to help fill out the roster when you do have players like that. Spending X amount of money on Andrew McCutchen, which was a huge fail and a huge flop from the Matt Klentak era and all of it. Not being able to develop a center fielder, right? Having bad defenders. I mean, the list goes on and on. The list goes on and on. Christian says, am I worried Chuck Fletcher will overpay for Jones or Hamilton? That's my biggest worry. I don't know. I mean, not really right now. I'm not afraid, but I'll wait to see it. I mean, he overpaid for Kevin Hayes, so I know his track record. So I'm not going to be shocked if the Flyers go out and get a defenseman and spend too much on them. I'd rather have Seth Jones, though. I'd rather have Seth Jones than Dougie Hamilton. I think that's more of your blue chip centerpiece on the blue line more than Dougie Hamilton is. So I would like to go out and grab a Seth Jones if you could. But yeah, Chuck Fletcher's history screams, I overpay for people. The Minnesota Timberwolves want Ben Simmons. Yeah, there's going to be teams that want Ben Simmons. We were saying this prior. As much as people think that there's no value for him and there's no way in hell anybody wants him, that's not true. It's not true. There's going to be teams that are willing. Now, I mentioned D'Lo. Everybody screams at me, Brodes, you're an idiot, you're a moron. Well, I want Damian Lillard. I'm just saying, if you can't get Damian Lillard and that ends up not being successful, I'm not keeping Ben Simmons. And D'Angelo Russell is a 39% three-point shooter last season. He has the ball in his hands. He's a guard, and he gives you over 20 points per game. It is what it is. I'm doing it for D'Lo. I'm doing it for D'Lo. I'm doing it for picks with D'Lo, maybe. I'm doing it for – it's not just – when I say a name, see, this might be confusing people. If I say D'Lo, it doesn't mean just D'Lo. It means D'Lo plus. It means D'Lo plus picks. D'Lo plus another player. It's the main person we're talking about. The main return would be the player like D'Angelo Russell. And yeah, you know what? It's not great. I'm not jumping up and down for joy and screaming saying this is elite of the elite, because it's not. But neither is Ben Simmons. And I said I wouldn't do it if it makes your team worse, but I would do it if it makes your team the same. I think D'Angelo Russell on this basketball team is a second-round exit team. So it's the same. And then from there, you make your adjustments. So I'm doing it if it's the same. You're not losing anything if it's the same. I think this team's a second-round exit team with D'Angelo Russell. Therefore, I'm getting back to playing 5-on-5 basketball. 5-on-5 basketball. You would have to trade for Seth Jones, prospects, picks. I mean, I don't know right off the top of my head what the value would be for Seth Jones, but you're going to have to probably give up a prospects. You might have to part ways with a nice one, although he doesn't have a major deal tied to him, so it's not like longevity there in Columbus is something that they can hold their hats on to try and grab more assets from Chuck Fletcher. But, prospects, picks, whatever the case may be, maybe a younger player on your roster that has underachieved last season and you'd be willing to move on from. Do you think that scouts? This is from Philly Live or Philly Live, Philly Live, Philly Live. You tell me. Do you think scouts misevaluated Ben's scoring ability, or is it the lack of individual development? Well, it's the lack of development because there's so many guys that come into the league and can't play offensively, that stink offensively, that don't have the best shooting ability offensively. If you go back to the summer league tape, which I know is resurfacing the Twitter sphere, Ben Simmons was knocking down jumpers. He was taking jump shots, making jump shots. He was willing to take them. So to see the way he was doing it then, as someone who watches basketball, you say, okay, he's only going to get better. He's only going to get smoother. He's only going to get nicer. He's only going to get more confident at it as he continues to do it. So when you watch him score 19 points per game at LSU and you watch him have some sort of jump shot, this isn't how it's always been. It's not. He's not been this afraid. He's not been this unwilling. He's not been this brutal in terms of not looking at the basket at all. He doesn't even look at the rim. It's never been this much of a disgraceful effort offensively. So I put it on the lack of development more than it is misevaluating. We're talking about a dude who doesn't take a jump shot. There's no one in a billion years that would have seen 5 years into an NBA career a player not shoot a basketball. So this isn't misevaluation. This is unwillingness by the player itself. By the player itself. Mile High says, I don't like those Ben Simmons Toronto rumors as a Raptors fan. I don't know what the Toronto rumors are. But, I mean, look, there's a lot of smoke screens that are going to be involved. There's a lot of players out there that are going to be leaking information with their with their team, with their crew, with their agent, with everything like that. There's going to be a bunch of individuals that go through it that way. So I don't know what the Raptors one was, but Kyle Lowry in a sign-in trade. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to go that route. I really don't. I don't think they're going to go that route. Nathan said, watch him in Summer League. It's crazy. He looked so good shooting the ball, and he's all over the floor, really. It's a joke how he developed. I agree with you. If you go back and look, it's actually sickening. Where did that go? Why did that not progress? And it's all on him. And I'm sure the organization from top to bottom saying, Ben, you don't have to shoot. Do what you do well. And look, there's so many stories of now Danny Green spoke. I don't know if you heard this, but Danny Green spoke about if he's not going to be pushed and if he's not going to be held accountable, well, then he's not going to do it. He's not going to take risks. He's not the player that's going to do something if he's going to fail. he's going to stick to what he does well. Well, Danny Green is saying this, and Stephen A. Smith is reading all these text messages on the air about how he's being babied and, he's not being pressured to do things. I mean, it's all one big thing that we've been hearing for years. But now that it's showing its ugly head over and over again, different outlets, different people saying it, it's not crazy. I'm not saying it's out here like, wow, this is so crazy. We knew this. We knew this, but, just more and more keeps coming. That's all. Whatever happened to Seranthony Dominguez? That is a question I did not think about answering today. I think he ended up having surgery, right? And then from there just fell off. Hold on. Phillies Nation wrote an article on February 19th, January, February, March, April, May, June. Geez, that's been quite some time. Dominguez suffered a UCL injury early in June of his second season, which ultimately sidelined him for the remainder of the 2019 campaign. Okay. While Dominguez spent the following offseason rehabbing and preparing, he re-aggravated the injury in spring training and got Tommy Johns in July. I remember that. Girardi mentioned the recovery from the surgery typically takes 12 to 15 months, which leaves little room for Dominguez to have any setbacks if he hopes to return in August or September. The Phillies could have non-tendered Dominguez this offseason, but instead guaranteed him $720,000 for 2021. The signal is that the team remains hopeful about his long-term value, even with uncertainty about his ability to stay healthy. Any contribution from Dominguez in 2021 will be a bonus for a Phillies team that bolstered its bullpen through free agency. So just still kind of getting over the injury. Yeah, I mean, I do remember. I just don't. I haven't heard an update. I haven't heard anything, literally anything. June 4th, there was an article written on Seranthony Dominguez. June 4th. So this month, let's see what we got. Dominguez hasn't pitched since June of 2019. Geez, that's where we're at, huh? We're looking forward to a guy of June of 19. Geez, that's crazy. Joe said he thinks it's possible that he can return to meaningful games in August and September. Meaningful games. You're funny, Joe. You're funny, Joe. You're fucking funny, Joe. There ain't gonna be no such thing as meaningful games. It's almost July and there's not going to be meaningful games, Joe. It's June 29th and there's no such thing as meaningful games, Joe. We'll never see meaningful games again, Joe. There's no such thing here in Philadelphia as meaningful baseball games anymore, Joe. No such thing. Adam wants the Phillies to change Bohm and Hoskins. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Like, what are we going to do? You're going to move Rhys Hoskins to an AL team. Okay. He'll play DH. Okay. You put a bad defender at another spot where there was a bad defender. Alec Bohm stinks defensively. He's going to stink at first base. He's going to make mistakes at first base. He's bad at third. He's bad at first. Sometimes you're just a bad defender. He's got a big body frame, and he can't move very well. So let me know what type of defender he's going to be when he's that large of a human being, and he can't read the baseball. He's not going to be good at first base. We're going to be having the same conversations about Alec Bohm at first than we did Rhys Hoskins at first. So now we're just maneuvering around a circle, sadly. Mikey says, dude, I swear if the Phillies have a bad lineup today, they've been having a bad lineup. Torreyes, Nick Maton, Luke Williams, Jankowski, Andrew Knapp. These are the names. Now, what makes it even worse is, Maton's giving you production off of DeGrom. And it's not bad. I'm not saying what makes it worse, but, it's sad. It's sad when Torreyes and Maton are being your run producers for you. That's what I'm saying. It's nice that they're doing it. It's not a bad thing. I'm not mad that they're the ones that they're doing things out there. You need somebody to do it. But, it's like not the way you draw it up. Well, why would there be no Harper? Harper played yesterday. And JT didn't play yesterday. So, of course, those guys are going to be in the lineup. JT did not play yesterday. So, if he's not playing today, I mean, we have a serious issue with whoever's making those decisions. And Bryce played yesterday. I know it's not a lot, but don't be surprised if Didi returns today. Are we at the point of Didi returning today? Is that a thing? I don't think I've heard anything about Didi returning today. Let's find out. Here's a look at the latest injury, including updates on Harper, Gene Segura, and Didi Gregorius. It's not out of the question that shortstop could be activated sometime during the homestand, which runs through Sunday. Okay. I knew he was getting closer. I didn't know if it would be exactly today. Jim Salisbury saying it won't be out of the question activated during the homestand. So he will be evaluated Tuesday in Philadelphia and likely play a couple more minor league games before being evaluated again midweek. He's been out since May 13th. I didn't think it was that close because we would have heard more of some noise, more of we'd probably hear a little bit more noise before he just like snaps his fingers and automatically returns. So that's why I was a little shocked by the comment. But yeah, sometime midweek probably seems more realistic for sure. Wayne Simmons just signed with the Leafs. Is that official? I know that they were talking. Yes, it is. The Wayne train has signed a 2-year contract extension. Yeah, Wayne Simmons had a nice season in Toronto. He did. He had a nice season. He brought some grit, brought some energy. He had a little bit of a dump off after the Flyers. He was struggling, bouncing around, New Jersey Devils. You didn't know where he was physically. Like you didn't know where he was with his body. And he thought maybe that was the end. He played a tough game, a hard-nosed game, a physical game. Maybe there was a calling there for the end, but no, that wasn't the case. Wasn't the case. Got himself, not anything wild in terms of money, but still hanging around and playing in Toronto with a chance. I know it's crazy to say this because of their failures, but with a chance to win a Stanley Cup, with a chance to make the playoffs, with a chance to be on a legit team. One day they'll bounce over the hump. I know they will, and no one wants to believe it. Nobody thinks it's real, but one day the Leafs will get over the hump. Andrew asked, when was the last time Didi played a Phillies game? I think they said May 13th. May 13th or around that area. Mr. 89 says, why Maple Leafs? Why? What do you mean, why? Are you saying, like, why Maple Leafs? Why? Or why the Maple Leafs? Which one are you saying? Are you questioning the organization for making the move? Why Maple Leafs? Or are you saying, why the Maple Leafs? Where are we going here with this question? I see it. Why the Maple Leafs would do this. And if I'm Wayne Simmons, I see why you signed there. So I don't know why this is getting questioned at all. What about the Flyers, Brodes? Will they get over the hump? I don't know. I don't know. They need a major change as well. This is a big offseason for them with the expansion draft, with Seattle coming in the mix. Chuck Fletcher trying to get a defenseman for decor help. Also, Carter Hart bounce back season. Travis Konechny, what the hell is he going to do? Joel Farabee continuing that hot streak, hopefully. There's a lot of questions with this Flyers organization, and this is a big offseason to see where they're going. Birdman says, imagine watching hockey. Imagine not watching hockey. Does that make you cool to not watch hockey? I don't understand. You're missing out on a really fun game. You're missing out on a beautiful, beautiful game. You're missing out on watching the best trophy in sports get lifted after a championship. There's one Stanley Cup. There's how many Laren O'Briens? Come on, Birdman. The disrespect. Does it make you cool that you don't watch hockey? Oh, I don't watch hockey. Oh, hockey. I don't watch hockey. How about the Cup Finals last night? Yeah, it was a game where the Tampa Bay Lightning did what we thought they would do. They're the better team. That's clear. I'm not ruling the Montreal Canadiens out for getting overmatched in game one. They got frustrated towards the end, which allowed a power play opportunity. Stamkos scoring a goal, getting a pass, Carey Price and all. But, I thought you saw the physicality of the Lightning. You saw the depth of the Lightning, the speed of the Lightning, the size of the Lightning as well. Carey Price did everything he possibly could. He had that big save on Stamkos, glove side. He had that big save on Tyler Johnson, backhand, which was a good save going across the crease. He also had some post hit when it was 1-0. Big clap bomb by the Canadiens by the blue line, hit the post, could have squeaked through. Look, I need to see game two. One game won't tell me enough. I need to see game 2, but I'm not ruling out the Canadians. I'm not ruling out the Canadians after one game. Now, ultimately, we know who the better team is, right? So we do know that. Mr. 89 says, granted, it happens all the time, but the Toronto Maple Leafs have a history of bad signings. Dude, it's a $900,000 deal for a fourth liner. There's no way that this is going to be some horrendous move for the franchise of the Toronto Maple Leafs. You signed Mitch Marner to that big deal, and he had a great regular season. But when you just talk about AAV-wise, there's a reason why Carey Price is the first time a player has moved on with double-digit AAV salary in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Like, they signed all those big deals. Wayne Simmons for under $1 million is not what's going to set the franchise back. Watching hockey is like watching the Phillies. No, that's not true. Maybe watching Flyers hockey. And I would even make the argument that watching Flyers hockey is better than Phillies baseball because at least they get to the postseason. Now it's every other year, and they still are not great. They're not. But in terms of comparing them to the Phillies, who haven't been in the playoffs since 2013, 2012 was their last playoff moment. No, maybe Flyers hockey, though. But once again, Flyers hockey is still better than Phillies by far. And that's saying a lot with where the Phillies are. So, all right, so we have Birdman in here, and then we have Birdie. And Birdie is now backing up Birdman. Is this the same human being? We got our burners in here. Birdman makes a statement about hockey being bad. Birdie comes in and says, Birdman is right. You could probably be a little bit better, a little bit sharper with your burners. Make it, I don't know, John Smith. Make it, I don't know, Bill Johnson. You go Birdman and Birdie. It's the same person. I'll bet $1 million. Birdman and Birdie. It's amazing. Unreal. So funny. Couldn't have been sharper, huh? Yeah, Brian Colangelo burner. Savion says, what team stresses you out the most? Eagles, Sixers, Flyers, Phillies. Probably the Eagles, just because the Eagles are the biggest team in the city. They carry the most emotions. It's the Eagles, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. We live and die with them. How they play on Sunday affects the whole week. It affects the mood from August all the way through January, February. So I have to go Eagles because they're the top dog. So that's why I have to do it. You know what, Zach? I'm not that big on this soccer. And I know that's crazy as a sportsman. I haven't really given it the time of day. I really haven't. I have not given the soccer a time of day. And I know there were some crazy-ass games yesterday. My group chat was going crazy. This is wild. This is nuts. This is insane. But I haven't really paid too much attention to it. I really haven't. Shame on me. I know. Shame on me. Settle a bet. Who's a bigger fraud, Simmons or Gobert? Simmons. Simmons is the bigger fraud. Because Gobert never had the ability that Ben Simmons had. He never did. Ben Simmons, with a shot, becomes one of the best players in the entire league. Rudy Gobert, he doesn't have the ceiling. His ceiling isn't as high. That doesn't mean he's bad. He's not bad. I get it. He can't stretch the floor, but I'm with you. I got it. But he's a center. That's more normal. That's more normal as a center. Ben Simmons has the skill set and the attributes to be on the level of top 5 in the league, and he's unwilling to do that because he's unwilling to shoot a basketball. A center like Rudy Gobert, who's just a good defender, that's normal. Being a good center defensively and not having a great repertoire offensively and not being good on that side, that's a normal thing. Ben Simmons and this fraudness is on a whole nother level of disgusting. So I'm going Simmons. Brodes, would I trade Ben, Thibault, Maxey, 3? Yeah, easily. I'm not even thinking about it. I don't even know if you need to throw both in there, but if you do, then yes, I'm doing both. Look, Birdman says Birdie's my brother. Come on, dude. I sniffed that out in 5 seconds. Sniffed out in 5 seconds. So funny. All right, everyone. Look, I know it's like 9:50 in that range, and I normally go till 10, but because I have a tea time at 10:48, I'm going to give myself a little bit more time to get ready, to get going, to get something to eat, to get my golf clubs all packed up and whatnot. So with that said, I know I'm cutting it a little short, and I started a little later today. So, but I have a tea time. I have a tea time, and I got to get to my tea time. But you can't skip out on coffee with Brodes. I need my coffee in the morning, and also I made sure I still got that in play. So I apologize, a little bit shorter of one today. But yes, I'm going golfing, looking forward to it. Going with Jeff Mosher. So we'll see how we do today. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you guys later.